Fox 13 presents Healthier Together, sponsored by Regence Blue Shield.
And thanks for joining us for this special edition of Healthier Together as we highlight important stories that impact all of us. I'm Jamie Tompkins. Ovarian cancer is common among women, and it's often deadly in the late stages. It starts in the ovaries and it spreads to the abdomen and the pelvis if not diagnosed and treated early. And now a former Seattle Storm player is sharing her diagnosis and her journey in the hopes of inspiring other women to be their own advocate.
I'm very active and I do my videos. I will work out and just keep fit. And I start feeling pain on between my back and my butt in this area. And it started out light and then it started getting worse and worse and it wouldn't go.
Former Seattle Storm player Simone Edwards knew something was wrong, so she went to the doctor for help.
So I walk into the office and I'm just meeting this doctor and I just start crying. And I just said, I am in so much pain, I just need somebody to fix me. I just need this. And she just held my hand and said, you know what, let's see what we can do. We're gonna do a scan, see what's going on.
Simone says her doctor found 2 cysts and blood clots, which she was treated for immediately. But the pain persisted.
Calling the doctor, and I'm like, I'm going in, and I don't care if they call the police. I'm not leaving the hospital until they fix me.
Doctor sent Simone to a gynecological oncologist who performed a hysterectomy and discovered Simone had ovarian cancer.
So immediately the doctor told me, you have to start chemo right away because it's stage 3, it's aggressive, and I'm thinking to myself like, yo, if I didn't go in and said I'm not leaving this hospital, and so this thing would have killed me.
Paying attention to your body is really critical.
Dr. James Polo with Regence says a lack of effective screening means most women with ovarian cancer are diagnosed at advanced stages. And one challenge is that many of the symptoms are similar to gastrointestinal and urinary conditions.
Women are unique in the sense that they have 5 cancers that can affect the female reproductive tract. Ovarian is the worst, which unfortunately is also the highest cause of death. It's the 5th highest cause of death of all cancers that women have.
Simone hopes that by sharing her own experience, she'll inspire other women to advocate for themselves.
Life is about moments. So I'm still living. I'm thankful I can still walk, I can laugh, I can dance, I can sing, I can travel. And these are the things I hold on to. So my life still goes on, doing the things that I can. I have cancer. Cancer does not have me.
We've posted more information on the signs of ovarian cancer on our website, fox13seattle.com/healthiertogether. Meantime, back in 1995, a group of community activists in Seattle launched the LGBTQ Health and Community Center Gay City. And they were hoping to build a community. And more than 25 years later, they're celebrating that goal in a new location with new and improved services. And we're giving you a look inside.
We provide free HIV and STI testing. We're open 5 days a week. We're open Tuesday through Saturdays. And one of the cool things about our wellness center is that we're open until 7 p.m., which is when most free HIV, STI testing is not available in the rest of the city.
LGBTQ Health and Community Center Gay City is settling into its new Capitol Hill home on East Pine with expanded services.
I think right now what I see happening is we're becoming a full-on medical service. So in the future, we hope to integrate a lot of the holistic services that our community needs, which is HIV and STI and PrEP and some of the other HIV biomedical services, together with, say, mental health, psychiatric health, counseling, therapy, immigration, advocacy, housing, for example. Those are things that together make our community.
Gay City came to be after the closure of the city's lone major LGBTQ community center in the mid-90s. And it served as a mainstay for the LGBTQ community as times and needs have changed.
We've been in this new space for about 3 months now, and part of this move for us includes really expanded facilities in general. So our exam rooms are big and beautiful and professional in a way that we've never had. We have exam tables now, we have phlebotomy chairs, and that is an important step to being able to really provide primary care light is our goal.
While the mission has expanded over the years to meet the needs of the community, the goals remain the same: improve the resources, increase engagement, and improve access.
Our rate of clients that come back is superb. So that tells a lot about the quality of services that we do. And to be able to continue that legacy is very important for Seattle's LGBTQ Center.
Well, Gay City is also looking for volunteers, and you can find information on how to sign up at gaycity.org. While we may be more aware than ever the impact gluten has on many people's health, celiac disease is still dramatically underdiagnosed. It's estimated to affect 1 in 100 people worldwide, but as we're now learning, only about 30% are properly diagnosed.
Lucas is quite a picky eater, and most of the time I actually include chocolate milk because I know that he's going to have it, and that way he'll have a little bit of protein.
Mom Tracy Groves has to think outside the box when it comes to packing lunch for school.
The only treatment for celiac disease is to go completely gluten-free, and that means no food, no contamination, no touching of anything that has gluten in it.
After doctors diagnosed her 12-year-old son Lucas with celiac, Tracy says the family has to be careful when it comes to reading labels and cross-contamination.
We tried all of the gluten-free options, and we landed on the Trader Joe's.
Celiac disease is a specific autoimmune condition that involves intolerance and allergic reaction to gluten, but actually is slightly different than a general gluten insensitivity. And I think that we hear these terms thrown around often, and it can be difficult to understand what the differences are between the two conditions.
When it comes to celiac, the small intestine is damaged when the person consumes food containing gluten. Gluten is in wheat, rye, and barley, which is in many breads, pastas, and processed foods.
People with celiac disease have it really hard. Imagine your favorite restaurants like Mod Pizza. You can't have that ever again in your life.
Untreated, celiac can lead to long-term and serious health problems like infertility, nervous system disorders, and osteoporosis.
Abdominal pain, diarrhea, bloating, all of these could happen in response to eating an offensive food, and these symptoms may last for a few hours. Some people also experience symptoms outside of their digestive tract, which can include fatigue, joint aches, rashes, or headache.
Okay, what about pasta? Lucas, do you want some pasta with sauce? Lots of people who have celiac disease that goes undiagnosed for long periods of time do semi-permanent damage to their intestines, and then they can't eat other foods like dairy and oats.
Gluten-free bread is super small.
Just understand that you will make a few mistakes and try to be kind to yourself as you make the transition. Yeah.
We're still seeing summer-like temperatures right now, and that means families are looking for ways to cool off in lakes, rivers, and community pools. So we're focusing on water safety and how one local mom has turned her pain into her purpose.
It really was a moment of silence. You hear all the noise, and then something doesn't feel quite right.
Shazix Sunoda's 3-year-old son Yuri drowned while swimming at a friend's house back in 2018.
And Yuri was face down in the pool, and we were able to get him out, and the first responders arrived and got him back, but his brain never recovered.
2 weeks later, Shazix says Yuri was pronounced brain dead and he passed away.
Just losing a child is gut-wrenching, but for me, turning my pain into purpose has been a way of healing for me.
Shazix is on a mission to educate other families, founding the nonprofit No More Under, providing resources like swimming lessons and access to life jackets.
Oh my gosh, if I would have heard a mother telling me what happened to her child, and again, it's the #1 reason 1 to 4-year-olds die, and the #2 reason 15 to 19-year-olds die. So we think we're okay once we get them to teenage years, and then they go out swimming in Lake Washington and a tragedy happens.
No More Under teaches drowning prevention techniques like flip, float, and follow.
So the goal is, her keeping her head above the water as much as possible. And it's just having yourself on your back and being able to float versus being straight up and down where you are going to get pulled down much faster.
And rescue techniques like reach, throw, don't go.
A floaty or a pool noodle, a rake, anything long to be able to pull someone in. You want to throw something that floats. Whether that's a life jacket, that can be a cooler. We also have a bucket, as long as you don't fill the bucket with water. And what she's doing is she's floating until she's able to be rescued. Reach, throw, don't go. This is how so many drownings happen, is that people believe that they are strong enough swimmers and can go out and save someone.
Well, when the sun is out and the temperatures start to climb, we make the most of it here in the Pacific Northwest. But it's important to remember to protect your skin when you spend time outside, regardless of whether the sun is out or not. A local teacher is sharing her personal experience with skin cancer.
I had a small birthmark, flat type of mole on my head, on my forehead, and it was real tiny. It was about half a centimeter, maybe less.
Tabby Igbahen says she noticed her pre-existing mole had grown in size while living abroad in 2009, so she had it biopsied.
They checked it, they did a little biopsy. They said it was fine.
But it wasn't until she moved back to the States and started teaching again that other people also started to notice a change. In 2019, a mother of a student who also happened to be a dermatologist suggested she get it checked again.
Through that year, the beginning of September 2019 until the beginning of 2020, it really increased in size. It was actually about 1.5 inches wide, and it started getting discoloration and misshapen.
After multiple biopsies, doctors determined the mole had to be removed immediately.
Because they didn't know how deep it was, and they didn't know how far the parameters were. They took a donor site from my shoulder and then did a full skin graft on my forehead.
Skin cancer is the most common type of cancer in the United States, according to the Centers of Disease Control. Your risk for skin cancer can increase with as little as 15 minutes of intense sunlight.
Dr. Drew Oliveira with Regents Blue Shield says melanoma is the most worrisome form of skin cancer, and your risk for melanoma doubles if you've had as little as 5 sunburns in your life.
Sunscreen should be used anytime you're going outside, whether it's cloudy or sunny, but certainly more so in the sun.
Tabby says she diligently wore sunscreen since the age of 16, but she also has a family history of skin cancer.
At school, I have a big wide brim hat so that I can cover my shoulder and my head.
She encourages everyone to get screened for skin cancer and have any warning signs documented and tracked by a doctor, regardless of ethnicity, family history, or where you live.
You should always be checking yourself.
And when it comes to skin cancer, doctors say remember the ABCs. A is for asymmetry. Does it look the same all around? B is for borders. Are they irregular? C is for color. Is it uniform? D is for diameter. Is it bigger than a pencil eraser? And then finally, E is for evolving. Do you notice changes in the size, shape, or color? The Food and Drug Administration is proposing new restrictions for using the healthy claim on food packaging. According to the FDA, roughly 5% of packaged food products are labeled healthy. The agency regulates the claim and first defined it back in 1994. Now, the FDA wants to update the definition to match current nutrition science. In order to have the claim healthy on their packaging, the FDA says products would need to contain a certain amount of food from at least one of the recommended food groups. And they would also have to cut certain nutrients that are bad for you, such as sodium and added sugars. And with kids back in school, some planning and creativity will go a long way in helping them establish healthy eating habits. Maria Garcia takes us inside the Fair Start Kitchen in Seattle, where the executive chef is dishing out her secrets to healthy family meals on a budget.
It's fun, a little creative, but also tasty. Danielle Ott knows what kids like to eat. As executive chef at Fair Start, she also understands what parents are aiming for when it comes to packing a healthy lunch.
At Fair Start, we follow very strict guidelines for providing nutritious meals to our children. They need to include whole grains. We do seasonal and fresh vegetables and fruit, mainly unprocessed food and overall nutrient-dense foods as well.
Since 1992, the nonprofit has prepared well over 16 million meals for schools, healthcare centers, shelters, and daycare centers.
We swap out ingredients. So if you're using a recipe that has white rice, we switch it to a whole grain brown rice. Or if it's like a cheese sauce that maybe you need to make it allergen free, or you don't want all that dairy or heavy fats, we'll change it to a plant-based sauce.
With inflation, some may find it harder to buy nutritious food, so Chef Ott suggests planning in advance. Stick to your grocery list and cook in bulk when you can, so you can freeze meals to use later in the week.
Find ingredients that your family really likes and buy that in bulk. Other options are always to buy frozen vegetables. They're just as nutritious as fresh, but they'll last a little bit longer.
Another option to keep costs down is going meatless at least one day a week.
Sometimes people hear meatless and they think, oh no, I'm not getting meat. What am I gonna do? If you just don't tell them you're eating vegetarian, they might not notice.
Chef Ott says one of the best ways to help your kids establish healthy eating habits is to get them involved.
Take them grocery shopping and have them pick out a fruit that they want to eat or a vegetable that they want to eat to try. And then as they get older, get them involved in the recipe planning or having them work with you on a recipe if you do bulk cooking.
Chef Ott says it is important to set a good example and eat healthy meals with your child. And when it comes to introducing reluctant kids to new healthy foods, don't get discouraged.
It's always important to fill their plate with something nutritious that you know that they currently like and can fill up on. And then take the new item and just give them like a smaller portion and see if they like it, eat it. And if they don't like it, it's okay.
Maria Garcia, Fox 13 News.
Flu season is back and doctors are urging Americans to get vaccinated. The recent flu surge in Australia may be a precursor to a hefty flu season here in the U.S. after it was relatively dormant during COVID.
The fact that flu hasn't been here for a couple of years really has changed the population immunity to flu. You know, not only that overall we just haven't been exposed to as much, so the population immunity has dropped. But, you know, we've got kids who are now, 2 years older, getting their first exposure to flu than typical.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says everyone 6 months and older should get a flu shot. They also recommend seniors get flu shots specifically designed for older adults. If you plan on hitting the bike trail anytime soon, don't forget your helmet. Data shows wearing one can reduce the risk of head injury by up to 85%. That's why we're focusing on helmet safety and how to make sure you have the proper fit before you hit the road.
We want to make sure the helmet itself is less than 5 years old. There's a manufacture date on the inside. The reason is the material will start breaking down over time. Sun, sunscreen, sweat, all of that.
Amy Corver, Community Education Manager with the Cascade Bicycle Club, says it's also important to make sure your helmet is certified safe by the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
Then you want to make sure the helmet itself is not too big for your head. This is a good fit. You want the smallest one that will fit on your head.
More people are riding all the time, and we just need to stay safe while we ride.
Dr. Drew Oliveira, Senior Executive Medical Director at Regents, says safety is key, as one of the biggest dangers cyclists face are traumatic brain injuries. According to the CDC, from 2009 to 2018, there were nearly 597,000 bicycle-related traumatic brain injuries treated in hospital emergency rooms in the U.S. In the same time period, males were 3 times more likely than females to end up in the ER for TBI.
There are about 60,000 of those every year. In the last 10 years, there's been almost 600,000 incidences where people injured themselves on a bike, had to go to the emergency room or the hospital as a result of a head injury.
It's also important to do a quick bike check before you hit the road. Make sure the tires have enough air, the brakes are working properly, and don't forget to check the chain.
I'm checking the noise that it's making and that it's not grating on anything. So let's listen a second. That sounds pretty good.
Well, thanks for joining us for this special edition of Healthier Together. For more stories, just go to our website, fox13seattle.com/healthiertogether.